Part 60. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 591. In Wufeng Manor. Considering that it was temporarily impossible to escape from the blockade of the sky full of yellow sand, and that it was necessary to deal with the attacks of the golden and silver armor giants, the cautious Yin dragon tried his best to persuade the evil dragon not to waste dragon power and physical strength to attack the yellow sand. In the end, the evil dragon listened to the Yin dragon's persuasion and allowed the dragon body to be forcibly dragged into the heavenly soldiers and gods god-trapping formation by the force involved. The heavenly soldiers and gods god-trapping formation arranged around the dragon statue is about 15 meters long and only about 8 meters wide. Such a narrow space can trap two real dragons with a body length of nearly 100 meters. This made the pseudo-dragon vain admire him, and the only contempt for Zhang Fengjai in his heart also disappeared completely. Senior, be ready to attack at any time. When the evil dragon and Yin dragon were dragged into the heavenly soldiers and gods formation, Zhang Fengjai turned his head and reminded the giant dragon condensed by the pseudo-dragon vein, and rushed into the formation with the sword in his hand tightly. At the gate of Manor number 2. Xiao Tanya, standing at the gate, looked at the two real dragons hovering in the air with an extremely shocked look in her eyes. Although the totem of China is the dragon, and although China claims to be the descendant of the dragon, everyone knows in their hearts that the dragon is just a legendary beast, a kind of psychological sustenance pieced together by the ancients. Now, the legendary beast, the totem pieced together by the ancients, appeared alive in front of her. This shocking visual impact directly destroyed Xiao Tanya's scientific beliefs that she had firmly believed in for 20 years. Moreover, what made her feel even more unbelievable was the boy standing in front of the ruins of the dragon statue. Facing the oppression of the two dragons, the boy made a confident move. Facing the white dragon that fell beside him, the boy treated it calmly and equally. All this made Xiao Tanya's heart suffer a very strong impact. At this time, in addition to admiration and worship, there was also a trace of inexplicable complex expression in her eyes when she looked at the boy. At this moment, she temporarily extinguished the idea of escaping overnight. Because she wanted to wait until after the human-dragon war to have a good talk with the boy with outstanding temperament, to discuss whether he could help her deal with the trouble caused by Zhang Xianjiao's death, and whether he could cooperate with her to play the song she had just composed at the concert next month. Boom! With the gap between the 36 golden armor giants and the 36 silver armor giants moving quickly, Zhang Fengjai successfully broke into the formation and immediately felt a terrifying force like a sea of overturning, which directly hit the bodies of the 5 golden armor giants and the 3 silver armor giants. The terrifying and powerful force bombardment not only caused the 5 golden armor giants and the 3 silver armor giants to retreat 3 steps in succession, but also almost exposed the flaws of the formation. Without the slightest hesitation, with the advantage of the formation, Zhang Fengjai immediately threw out the sword in his hand and condensed the mark with a light shout. The sky and the earth are boundless, the primordial law, the mind is indestructible, and it changes in 1,000 ways. With the sword in his hand, 20 swords were quickly split, representing the realm of Kinkan sword technique, and he had successfully advanced to the second level. Although he had already guessed it in his heart, when he really saw the 20 swords split out of the formation, Zhang Fengjai still showed an uncontrollable surprise in his eyes. Fortunately, the complete Hunyuan taking heart method sublimated his state of mind. After calming down his surprise, he immediately used the attack sword technique in the Kinkan sword technique and began to specifically target Yin Long. The reason why he specifically targeted Yin Long was the result of his observation just now. Firstly, Yin Long's strength was obviously inferior to that of the evil dragon. With the formation of the heavenly soldiers and gods to trap the gods, he had a great chance of severely injuring or even directly killing Yin Long. Secondly, compared with the hot-tempered evil dragon, the sinister Yin dragon could not only control his emotions well, but also was familiar with and understood the formation. It was easy to break the formation of the heavenly soldiers and gods to trap the gods, and it was also possible to escape in advance when the opportunity was not good. Thirdly, the yin-sha energy transformed by Yin-Long was the culprit that caused Black Cat's mental confusion. Injuring and killing Yin-Long in advance could be regarded as revenge for the tragic death of Qi Liangkai's family. After using the dragon's tail to forcibly repel the 4 golden armor giants and 6 silver armor giants that were besieging, Yin-Long was about to use the dragon's claws to destroy the 2 golden armor giants. Suddenly, a sense of vigilance emerged in his heart, causing him to immediately retract the dragon's claws and mobilize all the dragon's energy to strengthen the defense of the dragon's body. Bang, bang. Puff, puff, puff. Although Yin-Long reacted quickly and took timely defensive measures, he was dragged down by the formation, causing him to be one step slower in mobilizing dragon energy for defense. In the end, the 3 sharp swords broke through the physical defense and pierced the dragon's abdomen and both sides of the dragon's back. Although the 3 parts pierced by the sharp swords were not fatal, the pain caused by the wounds and the shame of the dragon's dignity made Yin-Long roar in anger. After hearing the angry roar of the yin dragon in the formation, the pseudo-dragon Vane's eyes immediately flashed with joy. Because this meant that Zhang Fenji's attack with the formation had successfully hurt the yin dragon and weakened the yin dragon's overall strength. After hearing the angry roar of his companion yin dragon, which contained a hint of pain, the evil dragon, who was attacking the golden armor giant and the silver armor giant with all his strength, gradually showed a hint of madness in his eyes, and gave up his physical defense all night and desperately attacked the golden armor giant and the silver armor giant, and tried his best to get close to his companion yin dragon. After pulling back the 20 sharp swords with both hands, Zhang Fenji continued to use the Qinkan sword technique to attack Yin-Long's wounds. After roaring angrily, the yin dragon, like the evil dragon, had the same desperate intention, but faced with the sharp swords combined with the flanking attack of the gold armor giant and the silver armor giant, as well as the yellow sand that troubled his sight and thoughts, the yin dragon not only gradually, he fell behind, and the wounds continued to get worse. The aggravation of the wound caused more and more dragon blood to flow out of the wound, which not only greatly weakened the yin evil energy in the yin dragon's body, but also affected the remaining soul that had not fully recovered. 40 seconds later, Yin-Long, who was completely at a disadvantage, was already in constant danger, and was in danger of being seriously injured at any time by a sneak attack with a sharp sword. But at this moment, the 2 golden armor giants who prevented Yin-Long from approaching the edge of the formation were suddenly torn apart by the 2 extended dragon claws. The evil dragon with scarlet eyes appeared next to Yin-Long. Well. Seeing the appearance of the evil dragon, Zhang Fenji knew that not only had he lost the chance to kill the yin dragon, but the heavenly weapon god general's trap god formation could not trap the combined forces of the 2 dragons. Therefore, he couldn't help but sigh, took back the 20 sharp swords split by the Qinkan sword technique, and then quietly exited the formation. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 592. In Wufeng Manor. Destroy. After exiting the heavenly soldiers and gods god-trapping array, Zhang Fenji dispersed the sharp sword condensed by the grey energy, and shouted with his 10 fingers quickly condensing the mark. As the condensed mark quickly merged into the array filled with yellow sand, the 31 golden armor giants and 26 silver armor giants suddenly stopped moving, and fiercely attacked the evil dragon and the yin dragon. Then, the yellow sand that was everywhere in the array poured into the bodies of the golden armor giants and the silver armor giants. Not good, that kid is using the secret method to detonate the heavenly soldiers and gods god-trapping array, and the power of the array's self-detonation may reach the virtual pill stage. As the yellow sand that blocked the line of sight and shielded the mind continued to disappear, the yin dragon outside the array could be clearly seen. When he saw Zhang Fenji exiting the array, and the status of the golden armor giants and the silver armor giants, his face couldn't help but change, and he immediately reminded the evil dragon loudly. When the evil dragon heard Yin Long's reminder, it was too late to escape from the formation. It immediately opened its huge dragon mouth, spit out nearly a basin of blood, and then quickly condensed its 3 dragon claws to chant a spell. Friend Zhang, this is the evil dragon clan's defensive secret method, Dragon Blood Xiantian, which can be transformed into a blood mist that is not inferior to the top Taoist weapons, which can reduce the impact formed when the formation explodes and weaken the destructive power generated after the formation explodes. Although the giant dragon condensed by the dragon vein is only an energy body and does not belong to the real dragon clan, the unique consciousness inheritance of the dragon vein allows him to clearly understand the meaning of the spell coming out of the evil dragon's mouth, know the origin of the spell, and understand the effect of the spell. After hearing the pseudo-dragon vein's explanation of the secret method used by the evil dragon, Zhang Fenji's eyes flashed with a look of enlightenment. Then, he carefully stared at the dragon blood that was gradually transformed into blood mist to see if the dragon clan's secret method of dragon blood Xiantian was similar to a secret method he had seen before, or whether it was exactly the same. The blood vomited by the evil dragon, under the effect of the mark and the spell, quickly formed a blood mist that wrapped up the evil dragon and the yin dragon. And at this moment, the remaining 31 golden armor giants and 26 silver armor giants, after integrating into all the yellow sand in the formation, exploded at the same time. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening roar, the powerful shock waves and terrifying destructive power formed when the golden armor giants and the silver armor giants exploded. Finally, under the restraint and guidance of the formation, all rushed into the blood mist that wrapped the evil dragon and the yin dragon, without affecting any flowers or grass outside the formation at all, which also made the pseudo-dragon vein truly see the strength and terror of the Taoist formation. Because he knew very well in his heart that the shock waves and destructive power forcibly bound together by the formation were definitely more powerful than the foundation building period and reached the virtual pill period. If it was him who was trapped in the formation at this time, then facing the powerful shock waves and terrifying destructive power that reached the virtual pill period. Without any secret dragon defense method, the final result is only one, that is, the energy body is destroyed instantly, and the consciousness is directly destroyed. As the destructive power with the power reaching the virtual pill realm quickly poured into the blood mist suddenly produced a violent turbulence. At the same time, it was mixed with the desperate roars and hisses of the evil dragon and the yin dragon. Zhang Fenji, who had been using the sky eye to carefully observe the changes in the blood mist, watched the blood mist begin to decompose and devour the destructive power while resisting the destructive power, and the look of enlightenment in his eyes was gradually replaced by excitement. Because he suddenly had an idea in his mind that could quickly improve his own cultivation and strength. As all the destructive power bound by the formation poured into the blood mist, the violently turbulent blood mist gradually began to calm down. The desperate roars and hisses of the evil dragon and the yin dragon in the blood mist also slowly began to calm down. 5 seconds later, as the blood mist quickly shrank, the evil dragon and the yin dragon wrapped in the blood mist gradually appeared. The originally majestic evil dragon was now not only covered with wounds, but the powerful aura it exuded also dropped directly to the level of the early 9th level of the foundation building period. The originally wounded yin dragon, although now very embarrassed, did not lose much of its powerful aura, and still retained a strength infinitely close to the virtual pill period. The different states displayed by the evil dragon and the yin dragon showed that the evil dragon not only overdrew its own blood to perform the dragon defense secret method, but also resisted most of the destructive power formed by the formation's self-explosion at the cost of its own serious injuries. And the yin dragon, in order to preserve its own strength, it must have chosen to hide behind the evil dragon and stand aside. Otherwise, he, who had already suffered injuries, could not continue to maintain his original strength. The yin dragon's insidiousness, cunningness, and ruthlessness made Zhang Fenji feel quite daunted, and at the same time, he was more determined not to let the yin dragon leave alive. Senior, take action. After turning his head and calling out to the white giant dragon condensed by the pseudo-dragon vein, Zhang Fengjai condensed a sharp sword again and attacked the evil dragon. Starry Sky. Seeing that Zhang Fengjai's swordsmanship was aimed at the evil dragon, the pseudo-dragon vein that swung its dragon tail to attack rushed directly to the yin dragon. Brother, let's fight in the air, kill the dragon vein first, then kill the humans. Looking at the pseudo-dragon vein that had rushed over, the yin dragon, who had already thought of a countermeasure, immediately ordered the evil dragon. Ah! After an angry roar towards the sky, the evil dragon raised its dragon claws to disperse the 9 invisible sword chi that shot at it rapidly, and immediately flew into the air to the middle of the manor. At the same time, Yin Long, who spit out a mouthful of dragon saliva containing corrosive energy to temporarily block the approach of the pseudo-dragon vein, also soared into the air. Senior, let's join forces to fight the enemy. Yin Long ordered the evil dragon to take off and fight, which made Zhang Fengjai see Yin Long's plan. It was nothing more than bullying him for not having the ability to fly, planning to first join forces to kill the pseudo-dragon vein, and then kill him together. Fortunately, he had already anticipated Yin Long's plan afterwards, and immediately jumped on the huge dragon head of the pseudo-dragon vein and gave orders. Ah! The pseudo-dragon vein also roared to the sky, swung its dragon tail and soared into the sky, heading straight for the evil dragon and yin dragon in the air. Dragon vein, although you do not belong to our dragon clan, your consciousness inheritance has the proud dignity of the dragon vein. Seeing Zhang Fengjai, who was also soaring into the air with his feet on the dragon head of the white dragon, Yin Long was very angry and accused. Since the moment we were born, our dragon veins have been the most noble creatures between heaven and earth. We can die gloriously in battle, and we can endure the torture after being captured, but we absolutely cannot tolerate becoming the mounts of other creatures. After hearing Yin Long's question, Zhang Fengjai, who signaled the fake dragon vein not to speak, took the initiative to refute him. A traitor who betrayed the tribe at a critical moment and almost caused the extinction of the entire tribe, how can he be qualified to talk about the dignity of the dragon tribe, and how can he have the face to question the actions of others? You. Faced with Zhang Fengjai's face-slapping rebuttal, Yin Long, who was almost mad, didn't know what to refute. Ignoring Yin Long's speechlessness, Zhang Fengjai threw the sword in his hand, pinched his mouth and chanted a spell to start performing the Kinkan sword technique. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 593. In front of the gate of Manor Number 2. There was a movie that failed at the box office when it was released, but was later regarded as a classic. There was a line in the movie that touched countless girls. My lover is a peerless hero. One day he will come to marry me on a 7-color auspicious cloud. Although the second half of this line expresses a tragic ending, it also confirms the dream of the Prince Charming in every girl's mind from the side. Looking at the white-clothed boy holding a sharp sword, stepping on a white dragon, and flying in the air, like a legendary fairy god, Xiao Tanya, who once had a beautiful dream of a Prince Charming, gradually had a strange look in her eyes. Although the white-clothed boy looks very ordinary, he is countless times more handsome than the monkey in the movie. Compared with stepping on the 7-color auspicious cloud, stepping on a white dragon with a body length of more than 100 meters can better highlight the white-clothed boy's divine power and extraordinariness. What's more, the white-clothed boy is also a musical genius who is proficient in music. At this moment, Xiao Tanya felt a little relieved. Fortunately, it was late at night and not many people noticed the Dragon Man battle in Wufeng Manor. Otherwise, I don't know how many girls would be attracted by the charm and style shown by the white-clothed boy. At this moment, Xiao Tanya's relief was replaced by a struggle. She didn't know whether she should tell the white-clothed boy about Zhang Xianjiao. Because she was worried that the white-clothed boy would misunderstand her identity and think that she was a lover kept by others, thus losing the hope of further contact and understanding each other. As the saying goes, if a person is unlucky, even drinking cold water will get stuck in his teeth. According to the instructions on the phone, He Shuhao, who was eager to rush to was Wang Fengyuan to understand the reason for the resurrection of the real dragon, suddenly stopped running due to a malfunction when the elevator reached the 6th floor. After finally risking his life to pry open the elevator door, he climbed out of the elevator car in a mess, but clashed with the elevator maintenance personnel who came. After finally using the means of throwing money to settle the conflict, he drove desperately to Wuifeng Manor, but was blocked outside the manor by a sea of rats. Looking at the sea of rats surrounding the walls of the manor, He Shuhao retreated more than 10 meters in fear. Because in his more than 40 years of life, he had never seen such a terrifying scene. But at this moment, a deafening dragon roar suddenly sounded in the manor, attracting his attention and making him temporarily forget the terrifying rats in front of him. When he saw the two real dragons flying in the air, one was covered with wounds and was very miserable, and the other was covered with scars and was in a mess, his eyes suddenly showed an unbelievable look. Because according to the backers behind them, the two real dragons after resurrection are not invincible, but there are not many people who can hurt them. So, how did the injuries on the two real dragons come about? When he saw the white dragon soaring into the sky, and the young man in white clothes stepping on the dragon's head and holding a sharp sword, the puzzled look in He Shuhao's eyes was instantly replaced by shock and panic. Then, he hurried back to the luxury car, took out another mobile phone in the car, and began to contact the backer behind him. Because the backer behind him once said that the few strong men in the secular world who can defeat and injure the real dragon all have powerful backgrounds, and they are also people that the backer behind him dare not offend easily. After hearing He Shuhao's report, the backer on the other end of the phone was silent for a long time, and then told him to leave Ningji City as soon as possible and go to the provincial capital to meet him. After hanging up the phone, He Shuhao looked at the white boy and the white dragon fighting fiercely with two real dragons in the air, and his eyes showed strong hatred. Because he could guess from the silence and concession of the backer behind him that the backer behind him had planned to give up the two resurrected real dragons, which also meant that his plan that he had prepared for several years with great difficulty and his hope of becoming the richest man in China in the future were completely ruined. He Shuhao took out a talisman from his wallet and stuck it on his phone. Then he aimed at the white-clothed boy who was manipulating the sword in the air and pressed the camera button. Then he immediately started the luxury car and drove away from the manor quickly. But what He Shuhao didn't know was that at the moment he drove away, a tracking talisman quickly stuck to the rear of the luxury car. After retracting his right hand that was quietly driving the talisman, Zhang Fengjai looked up at the two real dragons that were severely injured by him and the pseudo-dragon vein, and excitement gradually appeared in his eyes. Because he had just tried his best to attack, not only did he completely master the power after the breakthrough of his cultivation, but he also had a deeper understanding of the Kinkan sword technique for the second level. At this moment, although his cultivation has not yet broken through the virtual pill stage, he already has the strength and confidence to confront the strong man who has just entered the virtual pill stage. At the cost of desperately hitting hard, the yin dragon who temporarily forced Zhang Fengjai and the pseudo-dragon vein to retreat showed a trace of struggle in his eyes. The dragon body and dragon soul that suffered severe injuries successively caused his and the evil dragon's strength to fall to the 9th level of the foundation building period. On the other hand, their opponents, the young man in white and the white dragon condensed by the dragon veins, were not only unscathed, but also rapidly improved their cultivation and strength by constantly absorbing experience in the battle. Among the true dragons of various branches of the dragon clan, the evil dragon and the yin dragon are the slowest, and the blue dragon and the white dragon are the fastest. With the white dragon condensed by the dragon veins blocking them, it is difficult for them to escape the pursuit of the young man in white. If he wanted to save his life and turn defeat into victory by killing the white-clothed boy and the white dragon, he had to ruthlessly use the forbidden secret method of the Yin Dragon system, and devour the dragon soul and dragon body of the evil dragon in exchange for a dozens-fold increase in his own strength. But thinking of the companionship between him and the evil dragon in the Middle Ages, the joint efforts to fight against the enemy when the dragon clan was chasing him, and the reliance on each other when only the remaining souls were left, Yin Long was unwilling to hurt and lose the only brother and relative in the world. However, when Zhang Fenjai's 10 fingers quickly condensed the sword spell and continued to use the Kinkan sword technique, and the white dragon swung its dragon tail to continue to fight in close combat, the fear of death and the desire for life instantly replaced the struggling look in Yin Long's eyes with ruthlessness. Then, while pretending to remind the evil dragon to join forces, he flew above the evil dragon. "Brother, help me resist their attack temporarily. I will use the secret method of the Yin Dragon clan to kill them." "No problem." The evil dragon, who had no doubt about the Yin Dragon's sinister intentions, nodded and agreed to his request, and all his attention was focused on Zhang Fenjai and the fake dragon vein. The Yin Dragon spat out a mouthful of blood, and while the 3 dragon claws quickly condensed the mark, he silently recited a spell. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 594. In Wufeng Manor. The secret method of the Yin Dragon clan. The words that Yin Dragon had just loudly ordered the evil dragon, as well as the action of spitting blood and forming a seal, made Zhang Fenjai, who was immediately nervous, immediately retract the 20 sharp swords that were ready to attack, and then prepare for defense. At the same time, the pseudo-dragon vein also quickly retreated a distance and used the dragon energy to enhance its own defense. As the Yin Dragon silently chanted the spell, the mark condensed by the dragon claws merged into the blood. The dragon blood, which was as much as a basin, immediately turned into 9 long blood-colored chains. "Senior, be careful." Feeling that the Yin Dragon used the secret method to condense each blood-colored chain, the Yin evil aura it exuded was no less than the peak of the 9th level of the foundation building period. Zhang Fenjai reminded the pseudo-dragon vein with a solemn expression. "Got it?" After nodding, the pseudo-dragon vein continued to enhance the dragon energy to improve its own defense. "Lock the soul and chain the body." As the 9 marks condensed by the dragon claws merged into the 9 blood-colored chains, Yin Long shouted at the top of his lungs. Afterwards, the 9 blood-colored chains that merged into the marks began to vibrate and shuttle rapidly. But the scene that happened next was completely beyond the expectations of Zhang Fenjai, the pseudo-dragon vein, and the evil dragon. Because the 9 blood-colored chains that shuttled rapidly directly penetrated the evil dragon's dragon head, dragon body, and dragon tail, and then began to shrink rapidly. "Second brother, what's going on?" The evil dragon, whose dragon soul and dragon body were completely fixed by the blood-colored chains, asked with puzzled eyes. "Brother, I'm sorry." Even though his body was penetrated by the red chain condensed by the forbidden secret method, the evil dragon still did not doubt his sinister intentions, which made Yin Long's eyes flash with a look of self-blame, and he lowered his huge dragon head to apologize sincerely. But the forbidden secret method that could no longer be performed, as well as the fear of death and the desire to survive, forced Yin Long to explain. "In order to save my life and to continue the bloodline of the Yin Long clan, I can only temporarily sacrifice my life in exchange for my strength to return to the Sudan realm. But, brother, please rest assured that I will definitely kill the human cultivators, destroy the consciousness of the dragon veins, and avenge you." "You." After hearing Yin Long's explanation, the puzzled look in his eyes was instantly replaced by anger, and the evil dragon was so angry that he didn't know what to ask or curse. As if afraid of hearing the evil dragon's question, Yin Long directly opened his huge dragon mouth and spit out pure Yin Sha energy at the 9 red chains in succession, accelerating the strength and speed of the red chain's contraction. "Yin Long, you ungrateful bastard, you will be in trouble sooner or later." As the 9 red chains that were infused with Yin Sha energy contracted rapidly, bringing heart-wrenching pain, the evil dragon quickly woke up from his anger and cursed. But before he could finish his curse, the dragon shrank to about 2 meters and was swallowed by the Yinlong. Afterwards, the depressed aura on the Yinlong began to rise rapidly, and soon reached the limit of the peak of the 9th level of the foundation building period, and the speed of the rise did not stop at all. Yinlong swallowed the evil dragon by performing the forbidden secret method, thereby gaining the strength of the virtual pill realm. Although it was beyond Zhang Fenjai's expectations, he had already prepared in advance and was not too panicked. After signaling that the pseudo-dragon vein had returned to the ground of the manor, Zhang Fenjai took out the jade flute and jumped off the dragon head, and then slowly blew the jade flute. Accompanied by the beautiful sound of the jade flute, hundreds of thousands of mice guarding the walls around the manor crossed the wall and appeared in front of the ruins of the statue. "Friend Zhang, what is this?" No matter in terms of strength or size, the rats were just like dust in the eyes of the white dragon condensed by the pseudo-dragon vein. But when the amount of dust was enough to dirty his body, the disgust and fear from the heart made the pseudo-dragon vein frown. What's more, in the sea of rats that gathered, there were more than 30 rat demons whose cultivation had reached the chi condensation stage and one whose cultivation had just been promoted to the foundation establishment stage. "Senior, don't worry, they are all my friends and my helpers in dealing with the Yin dragon next." Through the frown of the pseudo-dragon vein, Zhang Fenjai roughly guessed his inner thoughts, and even hated the gathering sea of rats. He quickly smiled and expressed his attitude and the reason for summoning them. "Just these rats." The pseudo-dragon vein raised its dragon claws and pointed at the sea of rats, questioning with a hint of contempt. After all, with the innate gap in blood and physique, even if hundreds of thousands of rats attacked at the same time, they might not be the enemy of the Yin dragon's claws. Even with the help of more than 30 rat demons, the final result would not change at all. "That's right." After nodding his head in acknowledgement, Zhang Fenjai walked to the giant red rat without much explanation, then looked up at Yinlong, whose aura had successfully advanced to the Void Dance stage, and turned his head to the giant red rat with a serious expression and asked, "Brother rat, are you ready?" Squeak. After nodding in response to Zhang Fenjai's inquiry, the giant red rat closed his eyes with a hint of excitement. After taking a deep breath and squeezing out 3 drops of blood from his fingers, Zhang Fenjai drew 3 different talismans on the giant red rat's forehead, abdomen, and back. Then, he stretched out his left hand and pressed directly on the giant red rat's dantian where the demon power was stored, and then mobilized a demon power in the heart space and slowly input it into the giant red rat's body. Just as Zhang Fenjai mobilized the essence of demonic power in the heart space, both the rat demons who had been promoted to demon beasts and the ordinary rats immediately knelt on the ground excitedly. As the essence of demonic power that reached the peak of the 9th level of the foundation building period was all input into the dantian of the giant red rat, the aura emanating from the giant red rat began to rise rapidly. Along with the rise of the powerful aura, the size of the red rat also began to grow taller and larger rapidly. However, when the height of the red rat reached 9 meters, the surface of its huge body began to crack continuously, and a trace of blood flowed out of the cracks. Seeing this, Zhang Fenjai immediately raised his head and reminded loudly, "Brother rat, use the demonic power to activate the spell immediately." After hearing Zhang Fenjai's reminder, the red rat, who was immersed in the realm of improvement, hurriedly mobilized the demonic power to drive the 3 runes drawn on his body, and also gave instructions to the sea of rats behind him. Squeak. After hearing the red mouse's order, all mice, whether they were at the demon beast level or ordinary mice, bit their tongues and spat out blood. At the same time, the runes on the red mouse's abdomen formed a suction force, forcibly absorbing the countless blood spat out by hundreds of thousands of mice. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 595. As hundreds of thousands of mice spit out blood like a stream, the strong suction force formed by the rune forced it into the dantian in the red mouse's abdomen. Afterwards, the countless cracks on the red mouse's body instantly recovered, and its 9-meter height rose rapidly, and the aura of cultivation continued to increase. At the same time, the yin dragon in the air completely refined the evil dragon it swallowed, and the recovery of its cultivation and strength was basically completed. At this time, the dark body of the yin dragon had broken through 100 meters and reached an astonishing 120 meters. At this moment, the terrifying aura emanating from the yin dragon had completely surpassed the peak limit of the 9th level of the foundation building period and reached the virtual pill period. According to the induction of the special secret method used by the pseudo-dragon vein, it was determined that the yin dragon's cultivation had reached the early 2nd level of the virtual pill period. Little friend Zhang, what should we do? Looking at the yin dragon, who slowly opened his eyes and showed a sinister smile on his face, the pseudo-dragon vein asked solemnly. After all, the virtual pill period is different from the gas condensation period and the foundation building period. The strength gap between each small realm is as high as 10 times. If he and Zhang Fenjai's combination can barely compete with the top powerhouses of the first level of the void pill stage, then, facing the top powerhouses of the second level of the void pill stage, there is no chance to escape. Senior, don't worry, I have my own means to deal with the opponent. Zhang Fenjai, who also noticed the change in Yin Long's strength, comforted the pseudo-dragon vein with a relaxed look, and raised his head to order the red mouse. Brother Rat, use the demon power to activate the soul-calling talisman. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's order, the red mouse looked down at hundreds of thousands of its kind, and ordered with a trace of sadness and reluctance in his eyes. Squeak. After hearing the red mouse's order, except for the 30 or so demon beast level rat monsters that continued to crawl on the ground, the remaining hundreds of thousands of rats suddenly attacked each other, and the means of attack were very bloody and violent. At the same time, the red mouse also used the demon power to drive the rune on the forehead, and gradually formed a special suction force. With the bloody and violent fight, one mouse after another began to fall to the ground and die, and then a trace of grey energy that could not be observed by the naked eye but could be clearly seen by the sky eye floated out from the dead mouse. Finally, the floating grey energy was sucked into the red mouse's sea of consciousness by the strong suction force. As a trace of grey energy merged into the red mouse's sea of consciousness, the red mouse, who had advanced to the peak of the 7th level of foundation building with the help of the terrifying demon power, further improved his cultivation. With suicidal internal fighting, the soul power after the soul died was forced out, and then the leader of the tribe was assisted to quickly improve his cultivation. Seeing the sacrifices made willingly by hundreds of thousands of ordinary mice, the huge dragon eyes of the pseudo-dragon vein revealed a complex expression of touching, admiration, sadness and reluctance. Zhang Fenjai used the Kinkan sword technique to split out 20 sharp swords, ready to use the 9 palaces trapped killing formation to resist the attack of the yin dragon at any time, giving the red mouse time to impact the Sudan realm. The yin dragon, whose cultivation level had recovered to a level that Zhang Fenjai and the pseudo-dragon vein could not contend with, also aroused the pride and arrogance in the dragon clan. Facing the red mouse whose cultivation level was constantly rising, Yin Dragon not only did not attack immediately, but after a flash of disdainful sneer in his eyes, he closed his eyes again to familiarize himself with the power restored in his body, and then silently waited for the red mouse to finish the improvement of his cultivation level. Whether it was full of confidence or arrogance, Yin Dragon's attitude of not taking action for the time being made Zhang Fenjai secretly relieved, and then continued to pay attention to the promotion of the red mouse. Although it was only a group of ordinary mice who forced out soul power through suicidal internal fighting, there were many ordinary mice willing to sacrifice themselves. When the number of ordinary mice who died on the scene exceeded 100,000, the height of the red mouse not only reached 19 meters, but also the cultivation level was raised to the limit of the peak of the 9th level of the foundation building period. But then, no matter how the strong suction formed by the rune on the forehead absorbed and devoured the soul power, the red mouse could not successfully break through the virtual pill period. In this regard, Zhang Fengjai ordered honks without any surprise. Brother Rat, use the demonic power to drive the soul-attracting talisman. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's order, the red rat slowly opened his eyes and ordered the more than 30 rat demons crawling on the ground. Squeak. Faced with the order of the red rat, more than 30 rat demons showed a trace of embarrassment and struggle in their eyes. But under the threat of the cold eyes of the red rat and the indifferent gaze of Zhang Fengjai, they all climbed onto the back of the red rat and stretched out their claws to press on the rune. Then, the rune driven by the demonic power formed a strong suction force and began to forcibly absorb and devour the demonic power in the demon rat. 3 seconds later, the demonic aura of the 5 rat demons who had just been promoted to the realm of demon beasts completely disappeared. Their strong bodies were as thin as sticks, and their small eyes were silent and lifeless. Finally, they fell off the back of the red rat. Fortunately, Zhang Fengjai, who had anticipated this, immediately used his palm power to catch the falling rat demons and put them back into the sea of rats steadily. After the demonic power in the bodies of more than 30 rat demons was all transferred into the body of the red rat, the cultivation that was trapped by the bottleneck was directly broken through, and the red rat successfully advanced to the void pill stage. Facing the red rat that successfully advanced to the void pill stage, the pseudo-dragon Vane's face did not relax at all, and the yin dragon did not open his eyes to pay attention. Because the power gap between different realms of the void pill stage is very huge, even if the red mouse successfully advances to the void pill stage, it is only the first level of the void pill stage, and is still no match for Yin Long. What's more, there is an innate gap between the two in terms of blood and body. However, Zhang Fengjai, who saw the red mouse successfully advance to the void pill stage, secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and a look of joy appeared on his face. Because he still has the means to continue to improve the red mouse's cultivation and strength. With a slight push of his feet, he jumped directly to the top of the red mouse's head. Zhang Fengjai mobilized the second terrifying demon power in the heart space, which is the fourth life-saving trump card given by the special existence of Rat Mountain. If it is based on normal energy conversion, the demon power that barely reaches the peak of the 9th level of the foundation establishment stage cannot continue to improve the red mouse's cultivation that has reached the first level of the void pill stage. But based on the effect of the terrifying demonic power just now on the red mouse's cultivation, and combined with Third Grandpa's attitude towards the 5 special beings, he guessed that the 5 special beings trapped in Rat Mountain were definitely Jindan-level demon kings. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 596. The demon power cultivated by the strong men in the Demon King realm is not only of amazing quality, but also contains a special artistic conception, and has a powerful effect of assisting in breaking through the bottleneck of the realm. At the same time, the red mouse and the 5 special beings are of the same origin, and the demon power has a stronger effect on the realm improvement. This is also the real reason why the red mouse can advance from the peak of the 3rd level of the foundation building period to the virtual pill period. As the second terrifying demon power penetrated into the red mouse's body, the realm improvement speed that had gradually slowed down rose rapidly again. At the same time, Zhang Fengjai took out a piece of spiritual ointment the size of a fingernail from his sleeve, and threw it into the mouth of the red mouse with a trace of reluctance in his eyes. With the dual assistance of the second terrifying demon power and the spiritual ointment, the red mouse's cultivation not only successfully broke through the 2nd level of the virtual pill period in a short period of time, but also advanced to the middle stage of the 2nd level of the virtual pill period before stopping. At this time, the solemn expression of the pseudo-dragon Vane had been replaced by ease, and his eyes showed an extremely shocked look. Because he didn't expect that Zhang Fengjai's life-saving trump card would have such a strong effect on the red mouse's strength. At this moment, the yin dragon hovering in the air not only opened his eyes, but also had a gloomy face as if water could drip. Because he also didn't expect that the rat demon he looked down on could surpass himself in cultivation. "Brother rat, let's join forces to fight the enemy." Without paying attention to the reactions of the pseudo-dragon Vane and the yin dragon, Zhang Fengjai lowered his head and ordered the red mouse, who opened his eyes. Although the red mouse's cultivation level has been promoted to the middle stage of the second level of the virtual pill period, which is slightly stronger than the early stage of the second level of the yin dragon's virtual pill period, the red mouse's cultivation level is forced to break through by using high-quality demon power, the soul power of the same kind, and the spirit ointment. At the same time, without going through the consolidation process, he was familiar with and understood the energy that surged in his body after the realm breakthrough. This situation caused the red mouse's foundation to be unstable, and it was difficult to exert the strength that it should have in its own realm. Therefore, the red mouse is not an opponent of the yin dragon, who has a stable foundation and can exert 100% of the power of the early stage of the second level of the virtual pill period. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's instructions, the red mouse nodded and immediately twitched its tail behind it. The tail, which was originally nearly 20 meters long, quickly extended as the red mouse twitched and rushed straight to the yin dragon in the air. Facing the rat's tail that was quickly pulled out, the yin dragon with a gloomy face also swung his dragon tail to meet it. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening roar, the dragon's tail directly slapped the rat's tail away, and then opened its mouth wide to prepare to spray the yin-sha energy. The sky and the earth are boundless, the Hunyuan righteous law, the mind is indestructible, and it changes in 1,000 ways. But at this moment, Zhang Fengjai, who had already condensed the sword decision, immediately performed the sword-splitting technique of Kinkan sword technique. 9 palaces trapped killing formation. The mind manipulated the 20 sharp swords split out of the Kinkan sword technique, and quickly arranged them into a sword formation to directly trap the yin dragon. Yin dragon, who was proficient in formations, knew that the 9 palaces trapped killing formation had the threat to himself. So, he immediately closed the corners of his mouth that were about to spray out the yin-sha energy, and then raised his dragon claws to grab the 2 sharp swords closest to him. Because he knew that only by destroying the sharp swords used to set up the formation could he completely break the 9 palaces trapped killing formation. Qian Kun is responsible for killing, Gan Li is responsible for defense, Zhen Dui is responsible for disturbance. Facing the dragon claws grabbing the 2 sharp swords in the central palace, Zhang Fengjai calmly used the sword method and thoughts to control the 12 sharp swords in the other 6 palaces to rescue and attack. At the same time, the red mouse controlled the tail that was slapped away and continued to pull at the yin dragon trapped in the formation. Under the control of Zhang Fengjai's sword method and thoughts, the 4 sharp swords in the Gan Palace and the Li Palace, with the sword bodies crossed, directly hit the extended dragon claws. The 4 sharp swords in the Qian Palace and the Kun Palace directly pierced the dragon's belly and back. The 4 sharp swords in the Zhen Palace and the Dui Palace directly pierced the dragon's eyes. Dang, 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 dang. Accompanied by 4 crisp sounds, the 4 swords that blocked the dragon claws were directly bounced away. Bang, 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 bang. As Yin Long closed his eyes tightly, the 4 swords that stabbed the dragon's eyes were directly knocked away. Puff, 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 puff. Because of the 8 swords in Gan Palace, Li Palace, Zhen Palace, and Dui Palace, Yin Long was temporarily unable to take care of the 4 swords in Kinkan Palace. In the end, the back and abdomen were pierced by 4 swords at the same time. Although Yin Long improved the defense of the dragon body in time, so that the depth of the 4 swords piercing into the body was not very deep, and the damage caused was not very serious, but the rat tail that followed, hit Yin Long's head fiercely. Immediately afterwards, a scar deep enough to see the bone made Yin Long scream in pain. Ah! At the same time, Zhang Fengjai also used the 9 palaces trapped killing formation to restrain the space to control Yin Long's body to continue to descend. Mouse, you are looking for death. The Yin dragon suddenly opened his eyes, cursed angrily, and spat out a stream of yin-sha energy from his mouth. Then, the yin dragon spat out a mouthful of blood at the yin-sha energy, and then merged the yin-sha energy with the blood, and quickly condensed a miniature yin dragon with a body of nearly 30 meters and a long whip in his claws. Afterwards, the miniature yin dragon holding the long whip rushed out of the 9 palaces trapped killing formation and killed the red mouse while the original yin dragon was fighting with his injured representative to block the attack of 14 sharp swords. Although the miniature yin long barely entered the void pill stage, the long whip in his hand made the miniature yin long as strong as the red mouse. From this point alone, we can see how selfish and shameless Yin Long is. If Yin Long had used the hidden boots when facing the dilemma of the heavenly soldiers and gods in the god array at the beginning, this would not only ensure that he would not suffer any injuries, but also allow him to reunite with the evil dragon in advance and then attack the array with all his strength. But in order to preserve his own strength and secrets, he would rather watch his brother, the evil dragon, perform the Dragon Clan secret method that consumes blood. However, the sigh of Yin Long's selfishness and shamelessness in his mind flashed by, and Zhang Fenjai's face gradually became solemn. Because the red mouse lost its involvement in Yin Long, the cooperation of the 9 palaces killing array and the Kinkan sword technique gradually failed to trap Yin Long, who was desperately attacking the array. Fortunately, the fake dragon Vane, which saw the danger, immediately joined the fight between the red mouse and the miniature yin dragon, and with the endless power of the dragon Vane, it entangled the attack of the long whip. The desperate efforts of the fake dragon Vane not only made the red mouse's claws continue to hit the miniature yin dragon, but the long tail also supported Zhang Fenjai from time to time, resulting in the yin dragon's desperate efforts, but it could not break through the constraints of the formation. In the end, he successfully used the 9 palaces trapping formation to forcibly drag the yin dragon back to the ground. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 597. Just after Yin Long was successfully dragged back to the ground by the 9 palaces trapped killing formation, Zhang Fenjai controlled the formation and swordsmanship to continue suppressing Yin Long, while taking out the talisman left by his third grandfather in the bamboo building from his sleeve. 1 old colored breaking evil talisman, 2 old colored condensing object talismans. After mobilizing the gray energy of the Danshan to drive the 3 talismans, the sharp arrow condensed by the breaking evil talisman shot directly through Yin Long's cheek, causing great damage to the dragon's body and soul. The 2 condensing object talismans condensed a red-crowned crane whose cultivation reached the peak of the 7th level of the Foundation establishment period, and a powerful Vajra ape whose cultivation reached the early 8th level of the Foundation establishment period. Afterwards, the red-crowned crane and the powerful Vajra ape entered the Qian Palace and Kun Palace in the formation respectively under the command of Zhang Fenjai, and cooperated with the Kinkan swordsmanship to besiege Yin Long. Although the red-crowned crane and the mighty King Kong ape were far inferior to the yin dragon in strength, the red-crowned crane relied on its extreme speed, and the mighty King Kong ape relied on its strong physical strength, and then with the cooperation of the formation and swordsmanship, they continued to cause trouble and damage to the yin dragon. Puff. After nearly a minute of fierce fighting, the red mouse took advantage of the moment when the pseudo-dragon Vane used its dragon tail to forcibly entangle the long whip magic weapon, and swung its tail to directly hit the head of the miniature yin dragon. The fierce whipping force directly broke the head of the miniature yin dragon in half. At the same time, the pseudo-dragon Vane also took the opportunity to swallow the long whip Taoist weapon. With the destruction of the miniature yin dragon, the red mouse and the pseudo-dragon Vane, who were freed up, immediately rushed into the 9 palaces trapped killing formation under the command of Zhang Fenjai, and began to besiege the yin dragon together with the sharp sword, the red-crowned crane and the mighty King Kong ape. Yin Long, who was no match for 4 hands with 2 fists, gradually fell into a disadvantage. At the same time, due to the continuous damage to the dragon body and dragon soul, his strength began to decline bit by bit. Just as the 4 sharp swords of Kinkan Ergong chopped off Yin Long's head, and the iron fist of the powerful King Kong ape broke the dragon's horn, causing Yin Long's strength to fall back to the virtual Dan stage and completely lost the chance of a comeback. The pseudo-dragon Vane quietly withdrew from the 9 palaces trapped god and came to Zhang Fenjai, and then asked with a hint of temptation. Friend Zhang, do you have any interest in getting Yin Long's memory? Continuing to use swordsmanship and formations to trap Yin Long, Zhang Fenjai turned his head and looked at the white dragon condensed by the pseudo-dragon Vane, and asked with a hint of confusion in his eyes. Senior, what do you mean by what you said just now? Friend Zhang, in the inheritance of our dragon Vane consciousness, there is a secret method that can deprive living beings of their memories. The pseudo-dragon Vane raised its dragon claws and pointed at the besieged Yin Long and explained. As long as Yin Long's strength falls to the 9th level of the foundation building period, I can use the Dragon Vane secret method to extract Yin Long's life memory and then input it into your sea of consciousness. Let alone the Dragon Clan secrets and blood inheritance secrets that Yin Long mastered, just what he saw, heard, and knew in the Middle Ages is an unimaginable priceless treasure. Because Yin Long's experience in the Middle Ages not only expanded his experience and vision, and learned countless long-lost secrets, but also greatly improved his state of mind, so that he can use physical strength and gray energy more perfectly. At the same time, the significant improvement in state of mind can allow him to take Xianyuan Dan, Linggao, and Dragon Crystal unscrupulously, and rush to the virtual Dan realm of the top strong in the shortest time. Although the explanation and proposal of the pseudo-dragon Vane made Zhang Fenjai feel a great surprise in his heart, he used his strong state of mind to forcibly suppress the influence of surprise on his thoughts. Because his relationship with the pseudo-dragon Vane is indeed very good, but not so good that the other party is willing to give such a heavy gift, so he looked at the pseudo-dragon Vane with a scrutinizing look in his eyes. The dragon soul without memory will not disappear. The Yin dragon can still absorb the Yin Sha energy and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth scattered between heaven and earth by instinct. Facing Zhang Fenjai's scrutinizing gaze, the pseudo-dragon Vane explained with a little guilty conscience. If the dragon body of the Yin dragon is buried in the Feng Shui vein, it can not only help me to upgrade to the real dragon vein as soon as possible, but also integrate the dragon soul with consciousness to perfectly control the body of the Yin dragon. Senior, I will use the Kinkan sword method and the 9 palaces killing formation to capture the Yin dragon alive. Although the pseudo-dragon Vane is considering his own future, it does not conflict with the generous gift, nor does it take advantage of him. So, after Zhang Fenjai gave his answer, he immediately rushed into the 9 palaces killing formation. The pseudo-dragon Vane, with a look of surprise in his eyes, immediately prepared to perform the secret method. To deprive Yin Long of his memory, the integrity of the dragon soul must be guaranteed. Therefore, Zhang Fenjai, who rushed into the 9 palaces killing array, notified the red mouse, the red-crowned crane, and the mighty golden ape to attack Yin Long's body, intending to weaken Yin Long's strength by hurting his body. When the red mouse's tail entangled the dragon's tail, the mighty golden ape's iron fist hit the dragon's belly, the red-crowned crane's long beak pierced the dragon's back, and the 8 swords pierced the dragon's body. Yin Long howled miserably, and his strength fell directly to the 9th level of the foundation building period. 9 palaces shock, Kinkan's ultimate kill. When Yin Long's strength fell to the 9th level of the foundation building period, Zhang Fenjai immediately ordered the red mouse to withdraw from the 9 palaces killing array, and took back the red-crowned crane and the mighty golden ape transformed by the talisman. Then, he controlled the operation of the array with one hand and manipulated the attack of the sharp sword with the other. In the end, the 9 palaces killing array completely trapped Yin Long in the middle palace, and the shock force of the Kinkan sword technique directly stunned Yin Long. Friend Zhang, remove the formation. At the moment when Yin Long was stunned by Kinkan sword technique, after the pseudo-dragon Vane soared into the air and gave a reminder, the 2 dragon claws on the upper body began to condense marks quickly. Dispersing the 20 sharp swords split by Kinkan sword technique, that is, removing the 9 palaces trapped killing formation arranged by the sharp swords. Looking at Yin Long lying quietly on the ground, The marks that the pseudo-dragon vein continued to condense were all integrated into Yin Long's huge head. In nearly 3 minutes, almost 100 marks were integrated into the sea of consciousness, causing a trace of colorful mist to gradually float on Yin Long's forehead. Friend Zhang, be prepared to accept Yin Long's memory. When the colorful mist floating on Yin Long's forehead became less and less, the pseudo-dragon vein gave a solemn reminder, and then spit out a breath of essence of dragon vein energy directly into the colorful mist. The essence of dragon vein energy quickly wrapped the colorful mist, and then under the control of the pseudo-dragon vein, slowly floated to the center of Zhang Fenjai's eyebrows. He quickly sat down cross-legged, took a deep breath to adjust his emotions, then Zhang Fenjai released the defense of his sea of consciousness and allowed the colorful mist wrapped in the essence of dragon vein energy to merge into his sea of consciousness. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 598. In Wuifeng manner. It is no exaggeration to describe a real dragon that has lived for thousands of years. The memory of what he has seen, heard, and known in his life is vast and boundless. The influx of such a huge amount of memories in an instant was a severe challenge to Zhang Fenjai's soul energy and the endurance of the consciousness sea space. It was also an opportunity to expand the consciousness sea space. Empty your mind and quickly read the memories about what Yin Long has seen, heard, and known in his life in colorful clouds, and then eliminate many boring, useless, and uninteresting memories so that you can reduce your own energy consumption. He took out 2 soul-fixing talismans from his sleeves and used gray energy to drive them, and put them directly on his forehead, and then cooperated with the defense of the consciousness sea space to withstand the overwhelming impact of the colorful clouds and mist wrapped in the power of the dragon vein. Because there were too many colorful clouds, not only was it too dazzling for the conscious mind to choose, but also the impact on the consciousness sea space, and the severe pain caused his entire face to be completely distorted, which also made the pseudo-dragon vein suddenly realize that he was mistakes. But the consciousness sea space belongs to the habitat of the soul. He has no solution, and he dare not contact Zhang Fenjai's consciousness in the consciousness sea space casually. In desperation, pseudo-dragon vein could only quietly stay by Zhang Fenjai's side, while ensuring the safety of his protector, while secretly praying that he could withstand the impact of Yin Dragon's memory, and finally be able to avert danger. Originally, with the thickness of Zhang Fenjai's soul and the defensive endurance of the consciousness sea space, it was difficult to withstand the impact of the colorful clouds. But when his consciousness was reading the picture of Yin Long's memory, he accidentally saw a secret method about the use of thoughts, which allowed him to find a way to solve the crisis. No longer pay attention to the picture presented by the colorful clouds and mist, and concentrate on comprehending and understanding the secret method of using thoughts. Soon, he mastered the secret method of using his mind, and used the secret method to begin to imprison the colorful clouds and mist that impacted the space of the sea of consciousness. Call. Just after the last trace of colorful clouds was forcibly imprisoned in the corner of the consciousness sea space by his thoughts, Zhang Fenjai, who slowly opened his eyes, couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Zhang Xiao, I'm really sorry. Seeing Zhang Fenjai's open eyes showing an expression of great joy, Pseudo-Dragon Vein also secretly breathed a sigh of relief and quickly lowered his head to apologize. Because of my momentary negligence, you were almost in danger. I'm really sorry. Senior, it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about this. Looking at the pseudo-dragon veins who lowered their heads to admit their mistakes, and thinking of the secret method of thought that they had just unexpectedly obtained, Zhang Fenjai said with a smile and relief after the last trace of resentment in his heart disappeared instantly. Then, he stood up and walked to the red mouse, reminding him seriously. Brother Rat, dissipate the power you just gained through promotion and restore your proper cultivation. The demon power of the 2 life-saving trump cards, the essence demon power of more than 30 rat demons, the soul power of more than 100,000 ordinary rats, and the spiritual ointment on the fingernails. Although these treasures forcibly push the red mouse's cultivation to the middle of the 2nd level of the void pill stage, Their illusory foundation and unmatched state of mind cultivation will seriously damage the opponent's potential. If the red mouse covets its current strength, it will continue to retain its current cultivation level through suppression and consolidation. Then, the red mouse's lifelong achievements will always stay in the middle stage of the second level of the Sudan stage. But if the opponent takes the initiative to dissipate the power obtained by relying on external forces, although it will lose the strength of a top powerhouse, it will retain the potential and hope of reaching a higher realm. What's more, he has already had the experience of hitting the middle stage of the second level of the Sudan stage, as well as the experience of fighting the Yin dragon. Then, as long as he can calm down and practice, it can take as short as 3 years or as long as 5 years, and he will definitely be able to return to the middle stage of the second level of the Void Pill stage, and then continue to hit higher realms. Zhang Fenjai's reminder, or rather instruction, made the red mouse's eyes reveal a look of unwillingness and reluctance. After all, in the promotion system of monster beasts, the virtual core stage is equivalent to the great monster of the monster clan, and is only one step away from the monster king. The reality of the serious lack of spiritual energy in heaven and earth not only makes it difficult for human monks to attack the Golden Elixir Avenue, but also makes it difficult for demons to advance to the realm of demon kings. Therefore, monsters in the great demon realm are already at the top of monsters. This is a height that countless monsters cannot reach in their lifetimes. However, after hearing Zhang Fenjai's detailed explanation and expectations, the unwillingness and reluctance in the red mouse's eyes were instantly replaced by determination. Afterwards, the demonic power that had already boiled in the red rat's dungeon was no longer bound, and he allowed the demonic power to scatter everywhere, and allowed his realm to fall rapidly. Seeing the quintessence of demonic power radiating from the red mouse dungeon, Zhang Fenjai flashed a flicker of emotion in his eyes. He immediately used the secret technique of his mind that he had just obtained to collect the quintessence of demonic power and guide it directly into more than 30 rat demons and the rat sea. After feeling the terrifying essence of demonic power, more than 30 skinny rat demons immediately used demonic magic to attract them. The tens of thousands of smarter ordinary rats in the rat sea opened their mouths and ate them. When the red rat's cultivation level dropped to the peak of the 5th level of foundation building and the demonic power in the dungeon no longer continued to emanate, not only did the cultivation level of more than 30 rat demons return to its peak, but also among the tens of thousands of ordinary rats that had swallowed the essence of demonic energy. There are almost more than 6,000 mice that have the hope of being promoted to monster beasts. Zhizi. The red mouse, who had completely resolved his own crisis, was eager to return to the cave to practice again, so he immediately said goodbye to Zhang Fenjai. Brother Mouse, today's help will be unforgettable for the rest of my life. If I need Kinksu's help in the future, I only need to activate this charm. After signaling the red mouse to wait for a moment, Zhang Fenjai took out a teleportation talisman from his sleeve and handed it to the other party, and then solemnly made his promise. Squeak! The red mouse stretched out his paw to take the talisman. After nodding and thanking him, he turned around and left Wuifeng Manor with the rat sea. Just as the red mouse was eager to return to the cave to practice, the pseudo-dragon vein was also eager to place the yin dragon in the hidden place of the dragon vein, so he also immediately said goodbye. Senior, I won't give it away. With Yinlong's promotion and protection of the pseudo-dragon vein, the harvest of pseudo-dragon vein consciousness this time far exceeded that of him and the red mouse, so Zhang Fenjai did not give it away as promised. Stretching out its dragon claws to grab the yin dragon's body, the white dragon condensed with pseudo-dragon veins rose into the air and headed straight for the dragon vein where Baiko Pavilion was located. After retracting his attention to the white dragon, Zhang Fenjai also wanted to return to the Shen family's villa immediately and carefully check the life experience of Yin Long, but considering that the evil dragon and Yin dragon extracted the souls of the manor's dignitaries when they were resurrected, resulting in the chaos in the manor. The death of the vast majority of powerful people may cause shock to the entire Ningji city and even the entire Dongshan province. Therefore, he needed to stay to help Yanguo's hung and try to calm down the sensation caused by the death of a large number of powerful people. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuqi. Chapter 599. In Wuifeng Manor. Using the secret method of mind he had just acquired, Zhang Fengjai quickly swept across the entire manor. In addition to discovering Huang Yiwen standing in the courtyard of Manor No. 9, he also accidentally sensed the surviving stewards, nannies, chefs, and guests in other manors. However, among the more than 100 people who survived in the entire manor, 2 people attracted his attention. The first one was a peerless beauty with a peerless face, extraordinary temperament, and a little familiar standing at the gate of Manor No. 2. The second one was a top beauty tied to a chair with ropes in the second-floor bedroom of Manor No. 13, who had a deep grudge against each other. Ignoring the 2 peerless and top beauties for the time being, Zhang Fengjai withdrew his mind and immediately mobilized the grey energy of Danshan to penetrate into the vocal cords, and then called out to Manor No. 9, which was 60 meters away. Yiwen, come back. As the battle between Zhang Fengjai and the 2 real dragons ended, Huang Yiwen immediately withdrew her attention and began to check the situation of Manor No. 9. But just as she walked to the door of the building, Zhang Fengjai's voice suddenly came to her ears. Although she wanted to turn around and return to Zhang Fengjai immediately to see the scene after the human-dragon battle and ask about the details of the human-dragon battle, the duties and obligations of the police still made her suppress her curiosity and push the door into the living room. When she found that the owner and his wife and children of Manor No. 9 were dead, but a steward and 2 nannies were safe and sound, she suddenly remembered a situation that Zhang Fengjai had mentioned. She couldn't help but turn around and leave Manor No. 9 immediately, and then went straight to the ruins of the dragon statue. With the blessing of grey energy on the vocal cords, although the direction of sound transmission is farther, it cannot restrain the expansion of sound, and Xiao Tanya, who also heard Zhang Fengjai's voice, hurriedly took out the exquisite makeup box from her handbag. After a simple dress-up, she also quickened her pace and walked towards the ruins of the dragon statue. In the bedroom of Manor No. 13, the top beauty tied to the chair, when she heard Zhang Fengjai's voice, showed a look of pain and regret in her eyes. But when she saw the fat man lying in front of her, the pain and regret in her eyes were instantly replaced by disgust. Then, she took a deep breath, clenched her teeth, endured the pain brought by the struggle, and forcibly moved the chair tied to her, trying to get close to the bedroom window to ask for help from the man who made her hate, fear, and miss. Master Zhang, why did the owner of Manor No. 9 and his wife and children die, but the manager and the nanny were safe and sound? Because Manor No. 2 was closer to the ruins of the dragon statue, Huang Yiwen ran quickly and finally arrived in front of Zhang Fengjai at the same time as Xiao Tanya, who came on foot. Ignoring Xiao Tanya, the triple-role superstar in front of her, Huang Yiwen asked Zhang Fengjai anxiously. Also ignoring Xiao Tanya with a gentle smile on her face, Zhang Fengjai explained calmly. When the residual soul is out, the luck is gone, and the soul is destroyed. Yiwen, I have told you in detail that the 2 real dragon residual souls in the dragon statue need to devour the luck and soul of the manor owner during the resurrection process. Then, the manor owner who lost his luck and soul will of course end up with his soul scattered. As for the death of the manor owner's wife and children, the butler and the nanny are safe and sound. That's because the manor owner's wife and children have benefited from the manor owner's luck, which makes their souls have an inseparable bond, which is what we often say, one rises and all rises, one falls and all fall. And the butler and the nanny just rely on their hard work to exchange for the deserved remuneration. It has nothing to do with the luck of the manor owner. Of course, they will not be implicated in any way, and no accidents will happen. Huang Yiwen's questions were asked very clearly, and Zhang Fengjai's answers were more detailed. Xiao Tanya, who recalled the details of Zhang Xianjiu's death, immediately realized that she was not the murderer of Zhang Xianjiu. This also made her inner worries disappear instantly, and she decided to conceal the secret of Zhang Xianjiu's death. Mr. Zhang, if that's the case, then the owners of the entire manor, as well as their families, have all died in the resurrection of the two real dragons. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's detailed explanation, Huang Yiwen suddenly had a shocking idea in her heart. That's right. After nodding to confirm Huang Yiwen's guess, Zhang Fenjai said with a slightly gloating tone. Those who followed your and Xiaolin's notice, the moment they left the manor, were completely free from the manor's formation's shackles on their luck and souls, and would not suffer any accidents. But those who did not leave the manor would end up like the owner of manor number 9 and his wife and children, and die completely with their souls scattered. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's explanation, Huang Yiwen's face turned pale. Because before the two real dragons were resurrected, she and Xiaolin had already learned in detail the identities and origins of those manor owners when they went door to door to notify the manor owners to leave quickly. The richest and most powerful people in Ningji City and Dongshan Province, high-ranking officials who can decide and influence the stability of the political arena, business tycoons involved in both the black and white worlds, and aristocratic families and wealthy families that have been passed down for hundreds of years. Except for Qi Liangkai, the owner of Manor number 31 who had an accident 5 years ago, and the mistress of Chen Yunhan, the owner of Manor number 34, any of the remaining manor owners are big shots who can cause earthquakes in the entire Ningji City and Dongshan Province with just a stomp of their feet. Now, these top bigwigs died in Wuifeng Manor at the same time, which may bring bloody shocks to the officialdom and business circles of the entire Ningji City. I don't know how many innocent people will be involved. Yiwen, call Director Yang now, report the situation here in detail to him, and then ask him about his next plan and whether he needs my help. Although he could understand Huang Yiwen's panic at this time, Zhang Fenjai, who was eager to return to the Shen family villa to read Yinlong's memory, still hoped to deal with the troubles in Wuifeng Manor as soon as possible. Therefore, he could only choose to ignore Huang Yiwen's panic and pale face, and directly tell her what to do next. Okay. After taking a deep breath and forcibly suppressing the panic in her heart, Huang Yiwen nodded in response, then took out her mobile phone and walked to the rock 20 meters away, and directly called Yang Guo's Hung. Director Yang, something happened. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 600. In Wuifeng Manor. Hello, my name is Xiao Tanya, and I am an artist who is engaged in acting and singing. Seeing the female police officer in police uniform turn around and leave to make a phone call, Chi Tanya, who gave herself ample opportunities and time to communicate with the young man in white, took the initiative to extend her slender white jade hand and introduced herself with a smile. Hello, my name is Zhang Fenjai. Whether it is the stunning appearance or the unworldly temperament, Xiao Tanya, who claims to be an artist, is the kind of peerless beauty who exudes charming charm all over her body and is easy to make people feel good about. What's more, the other party took the initiative to extend her hand to introduce herself. So, after Zhang Fenjai held the other party's jade hand, he responded with a gentle smile on his face. However, good feelings are good feelings, and he has promised Sulitzi not to provoke other women casually, so he still let go of the other party's jade hand as soft as a catkin quickly. Zhang Fenjai's overly indifferent reaction also made Xiao Tanya's eyes flash with a hint of disappointment. Because in her life experience, no matter young talents, successful people, or crazy fans, every time they have the opportunity to shake hands, they will covet her beauty and want to hold her hand for a while longer, and every time she will take her hand back on her own initiative. At the same time, from Zhang Fenjai's clear and calm eyes, he didn't seem to know her, a well-known star in film, television, and music, which made Xiao Tanya feel unacceptable and couldn't help asking. Mr. Zhang, do you usually listen to music? Do you watch TV and movies? Although he felt a little puzzled by Jiao Tanya's question, Zhang Fengjai answered truthfully for his good impression of her. I occasionally listen to old songs, but the new songs now are simply unbearable. As for TV and movies, I have been watching American dramas about vampires and werewolves recently. What about variety shows? Entertainment news and gossip, Jiao Tanya continued to ask without giving up. A bunch of junk stuff and information, I never pay attention to it, thinking of the scandals and misguided values shown by variety shows and entertainment gossip news, Zhang Fengjai replied with a flash of disgust in his eyes. Alas! Neither listening to new songs, nor watching domestic TV and movies, let alone paying attention to entertainment programs and gossip news. Zhang Fengjai's overly old-fashioned approach and personality made Jiao Tanya sigh helplessly, took out her mobile phone from her exquisite handbag, and then found a new song that had just been released, and handed it to Zhang Fengjai modestly. Mr. Zhang, this is a new song that Tanya just created and released. Let's see if it can catch your eye. After reaching out to take the mobile phone and opening the play function, a piece of music played with ancient instruments such as pipa, erhu, flute, combined with piano and guitar, instantly aroused Zhang Fengjai's interest. The whole piece of music is as soft and quiet as a mountain spring stream, which can gradually relax people's nervous emotions. When the beautiful song like a kingfisher playing water sounded, Zhang Fengjai's eyes flashed with surprise. Because the song coming from the phone was not only pleasant to the ears, but also the lyrics used the famous Song Dynasty poet Zhang Kui's term Angxiang. How many times did the moonlight shine on me in the old days, playing the flute beside the plum blossoms. Wake up the jade beauty, regardless of the cold and picking. How can I be so old now, forgetting the spring breeze and writing? As the sound of the music coming from the phone gradually faded away, Zhang Fengjai couldn't help but sigh. Using plum blossoms to express emotions, matched with the depth of classical instruments, its connotation is deep and meaningful. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's sigh from the heart, Jiao Tanya's beautiful eyes showed a strange color. Because the creator of this song, Mr. Liang Qi, a famous professor at Yenching University, once made the same sigh. It also proves from the side that Zhang Fengjai in front of him, although he seems young, is also a learned man who is proficient in classical literature. This makes Jiao Tanya look forward to and hope that he can use the jade flute to play the song that is enough for her to truly step into the realm of the queen in the concert next month. After hearing Jiao Tanya's request, Zhang Fengjai couldn't help but frown, and instinctively wanted to refuse. First, he has a calm personality and doesn't like to show up, let alone face the spotlight. Second, he likes quietness by nature, doesn't like too noisy occasions, and doesn't want to be noticed and watched by countless people. Third, he needs to read Yin Long's memory next and select useful information for himself and his relatives. At the same time, Yin Long's memory of thousands of years of experience can greatly expand his horizons, increase his experience, improve his state of mind, and strengthen his determination, so as to obtain the opportunity to impact the realm of Sudan. Therefore, he is unwilling to waste time accompanying his loved ones and delay the opportunity to break through the realm for a boring and annoying thing. However, just when Zhang Fengjai was about to reject Jiao Tanya's invitation, Huang Yiwen, who had hung up the phone, walked over quickly and told him where Yang Guozheng needed his help. Mr. Zhang, Director Yang needs you to help him do two things. Go ahead, Zhang Fengjai gestured quickly. First, Director Yang hopes that you can ask Captain Zhuang to personally come forward and prove to the leaders of the Provincial Party Committee, Provincial Government, Municipal Party Committee and Municipal Government that there are supernatural creatures in this world. No problem. With the information Zhuang Jian has collected in recent years, it is not difficult to prove the existence of demons and monsters. Therefore, Zhang Fengjai nodded and agreed without any hesitation. The second thing is that Director Yang hopes that you can create a supernatural phenomenon tomorrow that the people in the city can see, and preferably also witness your existence. This. Hearing Huang Yiwen's second request on Yang Qiushan's behalf, Zhang Fengjie suddenly felt embarrassed and frowned. It's not hard to create paranormal phenomena that can be seen by millions of people across the city. Whether it is using the condensing talisman in the hand that can condense monsters, or using Taoism to transform the legendary beast, or even troublesome pseudo-dragon veins to condense the white dragon again. But to make her presence visible to millions of people was far more outrageous than what Xiao Tanya was asking for. What's more, since Zhuang Jian has already taken action in person, it seems that there is no need to trouble herself. Just when Zhang Fengjie felt very embarrassed, Huang Yiwen's mobile phone suddenly rang a very pleasant singing voice, and the person who sang the song was none other than Xiao Tanya. When she glanced at the number displayed on the screen and saw it was Yang Guo's Hung, she quickly answered the call. Then after a few brief words, she handed the phone directly to Zhang Fengjie and said, "Mr. Zhang, Director Yang has something to tell you."